Hey, my feel good friend, and welcome back to yet another mini-sode of the Feel Good Social podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm laughing right now because I feel like I'm always sharing just, the background noises with you, my friend. But today we have a construction crew outside my window who is playing very loud mariachi music. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it. I don't think you will, but I never quite know what my microphone will pick up. So if you happen to hear beeping or mariachi music in the background, that is just the awesome dudes downstairs. So just saying, just a little background information to what my day is looking like. How is yours, my friend? That is what I want to know. If we have not yet connected on Instagram, I would love to connect with you. I'm at Feel Good Social. Head over there, give me a follow, send me a DM, tell me that you came from the podcast. I would absolutely love to give you a follow back and just start commenting on your posts whenever I see them. That is what I'm here for. That's what I love to show up on Instagram and do. So definitely head over to Instagram and let's connect. I'm at Feel Good Social. I would love to hear from you, my friend. And today in this quick and actionable mini-sode, I am going to be answering one of the questions that I hear a lot from all of my followers on Instagram, my students, my clients. We all seem to be concerned with how often should we sell on social media? And this is a totally valid question, okay? Especially when you are just starting out in entrepreneurship. You have to show up and all of a sudden market your brand and make sales, but it's like this weird thing, like you don't know how much to sell. Often we either don't sell enough at all, or we're kind of like overly selling in our content on social media. So today I'm going to be talking about just that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hey, friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. All right, my friend. So before we do dive into this question of how often should I sell on social media, I do want to remind you that my new marketing membership, the Feel Good Social Club, is actually opening at the end of this month. It's the grand opening, and I would love for you to head over to feelgoodsocial.com/club and check it out. If you are heading over there today or in the next 2 weeks, you will find a wait list there that you can add your name to for no commitment, but it will just mean that you are notified as soon as the doors open so you can receive the founding members prize. But that's where you'll also find all of the information about the club. If you happen to be visiting it after October 26th, which is the day of the grand opening, then you will be able to sign up for the club, which is awesome. So definitely go check it out. And the reason that I'm bringing this up as well is because it's questions like this. How often should I sell on social? Does this feel salesy to you? Is there a way that I could present this that's going to not feel as salesy and actually compel people to want to buy from you? All of those questions are things that you can ask in my Feel Good Social Club community forum. This is why I am so excited about the club, because not only will I be offering my content template library with Canva templates and tutorials and post prompts, and also be hosting monthly content planning workshops so that we can make sure we create a plan of attack for your content every month that is strategic, and you can have accountability to actually take action and get stuff done, right? But also we have our community forums where you can ask questions, you can ask for feedback, you can just generally ask for a hug if you're feeling like you need a pep talk, which I need often myself. So that's why I always mention that. The community is super, super awesome for these questions that you have generally as you're showing up online and marketing your business. And you can ask your peers and get feedback on this question and then decide for yourself, right? It doesn't have to be confusing, it doesn't have to be overwhelming, and you do not have to do this marketing thing alone, my friend. I just want to say that. So if you're interested in checking out the community, head to feelgoodsocial.com/club. I have all the information there. Add your name to the wait list or sign up if you head there after October 22nd. I would absolutely love to see you in there, my friend. It's feelgoodsocial.com/club. Check it out. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this question. How often should I sell on social media? And I totally understand why this is a concern for you because it's confusing, right? I do see it all the time on both ends of the spectrum. People showing up on social media and absolutely never selling or selling like very, very minimally. I've seen accounts, and if this is you, once again, no shame, my friend. This is a no judgment zone, this podcast and anything that has to do with Feel Good Social. I have either been there or I totally get it. And so if you are that person who is showing up on Instagram for your brand, but like if you asked your followers, do you know what I sell? They wouldn't know because you never sell to them or talk about your offers. Totally understand. But we do need to change that a little bit, right? Like we need to be making the time that we invest in Instagram worth it for us and our business. And no one's going to buy from you if you never show up and sell, right? So that is one side of the spectrum that I see a lot. And then there's also the opposite side of the spectrum that is just people showing up all the time being like, buy for me, buy for me, buy for me. Like I don't see these accounts quite as often. I did used to see them quite a lot. And again, if this is you, if you are the person who is always showing up on Instagram and posting salesy posts and saying, buy from me, look at this discount, look at this sale, all this stuff, that's all your content. No shame. Once again, no judgment zone, but that can be kind of a turnoff for people, especially on social media. I mean, it's definitely the like temperament, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like the climate of social media is shifting a little bit. I have seen it shifting more toward being a place where people come to shop, especially through 2020 and the pandemic, when more and more people were wanting to shop from home, when more and more businesses needed to sell online. Instagram made some shifts, and I think our society in general made some shifts where Instagram and all social media platforms it's more normal for you to go there and to look to buy things, right? It didn't used to be that way, honestly. And it still is a place more so where people come to be entertained, where people come to be inspired, where people come to be educated, and less so where they come to specifically shop. So this is one of those reasons where it is not the best idea in the world to only be creating content that is salesy, right? So that's what I just wanted to say. No matter where you are on the spectrum when it comes to if you're selling too little or if you're maybe overly selling too much, that's okay. Wherever you're at right now, it's all right, my friend. But let's go ahead and talk about what is kosher and what I believe, my opinion, when it comes to how often should I sell on social. So here we go, my friend. And I do want to add a little disclaimer into this is my opinion is not necessarily what you will hear other marketers online shouting about. Actually, often online, when it comes to the question, how often should I sell? A lot of people will say they might bring up the 80-20 rule, right? So this is the 80-20 rule is something that people use in a lot of different areas in marketing and business in general and all the stuff. But in marketing and content marketing, specifically on social media, you'll hear people talking about the 80-20 rule where they say 80% of your content should be non-salesy, just value, 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 give value to your customers 80% of the time in 80% of your content. And then 20% of your content should be selling to them, right? You will hear experts online shouting about this rule, right? It's a general rule of thumb that a lot of marketing experts refer to. But my friend, this is something that I don't necessarily agree with. especially because I work with a lot of down-to-earth entrepreneurs who don't necessarily have marketing backgrounds, and they don't understand the nuances of what it means to be directly promotional, in your face, buy from me, selling. And they don't understand the difference between that versus storytelling to sell, or talking about your product in a non-promotional way that then is inherently putting a seed in your ideal customer's brains that, oh, they have this. There's more nuance to selling than just the direct promotional content, right? So I am going to propose that we throw the 80-20 rule out the window, because I don't believe in it, actually. And I am going to propose instead a new rule, the 40-40-20 rule, which is something that I actually just kind of like came up with, honestly. In one of my previous podcast episodes about selling, I shared tips for selling on social media. And I was just talking about selling, and I was like, I think it should be the 40-40-20 rule. And I've kind of stuck with it. I actually created a post on Instagram about this topic, and it was so popular that I decided to go ahead and talk about it more on this mini-sode today. But the 40-40-20 rule is really breaking down the 80% of content that a lot of marketers will tell you just needs to be value add, non-promotional at all. We are going to break that in half, and I'm going to share different types of posts and different types of ways that you can sell more indirectly. So let's real quick talk about the difference between direct selling and indirect selling, okay? Because this is the nuance that I really want to dive deep into, and I really want to make clear to you today is I do believe that we should probably only be showing up on social media in our content 20% of the time with those direct in your face sales posts, right? The direct posts that are like, hey, I have a sale this weekend, 50% off. Hey, look at this new offer, buy from me. The ones that are like very, very in your face, directly saying, hey, do you want to buy this thing? Awesome. Like kind of the more like, I think of like those inflatable, wacky tube men with like the signs at like car dealerships that's like sale, that is like what I envision in my head whenever I'm talking about direct selling. And that is awesome. We do need to be directly salesy sometimes, my friend, honestly, because there are times when people just need to be told, hey, I have a sale going on. Like, hey, buy this thing. Hey, this is awesome, right? But if you would do that all the time, or if you do that like, on average, more than 20% of the time, it might start to feel like a used car dealership, right? Like people might be turned off a little bit by your brand if you're just always like not being emotional, you're not being human, you're just in their face, you're just wanting something from them. But 20% of the time, that's totally okay, because sometimes we need people to tell us directly and ask us directly to buy from them in order to actually take that action. But then there is indirect selling. And this is different than just value add content that a lot of people will say needs to be 80% of your content. Value add content is more educational posts, inspirational posts, entertaining posts. It's really important to have this educational, entertaining, inspirational, value add content because it feels helpful to people. It helps to build your brand awareness and affinity and know, like, and trust factor and all of those things. It's what people come to social media for, right? Entertainment, inspiration, education. Those are the three pillars that most people are going and scrolling on Instagram for. So it's really, really great to create that sort of content for your brand, right? But there is different content that I like to call indirect selling content, which is when you talk about your brand, you talk about your offers, you talk about yourself as the owner of your business, you talk about your ideal clients without really being directly promotional, in your face, salesy. Right? So this indirect content can be storytelling, right? Telling the stories behind your offers, like showing behind the scenes of your process, telling the story of your customer's transformation and how you have helped them. All of this stuff is an awesome way to indirectly sell to your ideal customers without it feeling overly promotional and salesy. So let me know if this is making sense. My friend, if you have any questions at all, definitely hit me up in the DMs on Instagram at feelgoodsocial. I could geek out with you about this all day. I do. I get so nerdy when it comes to this stuff, my friend. But anyway, my long story short is that I want you to be aware of the fact that there are different ways to sell that aren't in your face promotional, and it's important to sell in those ways as well, right? So talking about your brand, your offers, your results in those ways that are kind of just talking about them is planting seeds in your customer's mind, and you are selling to them indirectly so that you stay top of mind and that they think of you when it comes time for them to need whatever the heck you're selling, right? So we need to be incorporating that kind of content into our content strategies on a regular basis, which is where the 40-40-20 rule comes in, my friend. Instead of the 80-20 rule, where it's 80% value add, 20% just direct promotional, I want to encourage you to try to think about how can I do 40% value add content, 40% indirect selling content. This is storytelling, behind the scenes, client transformations, all these things, talking about your business without actually selling your business, right? And then I also do want to give you a little whoosh and tell you that we need to incorporate direct promotional posts into our content strategy as well. So that's where 20% direct promotional, 40% indirect promotional, and 40% value add, just entertainment, inspiration, or education, right? So that is my kind of quick answer to how often should I sell on social. But once again, I do want to end with a little disclaimer. This rule is not set in stone, my friend. Okay, this is just a general rule of thumb that I want you to keep in mind so that you remember that it's okay to sell. It's okay to show up and be directly salesy. It's okay to show up and talk about your offers and sell in an indirect way. And also, we do need to incorporate value add content as well that doesn't feel promotional at all and feels more helpful or entertaining or inspirational. I want you to keep the 40-40-20 rule in mind as you are creating your content strategy, but there are going to be some months when you are more promotional than others. It doesn't have to follow everything exactly, right? Like sometimes whenever I share a rule, people like take that and think it's set in stone. And so I want to just make clear, this is not set in stone, my friend. And like I said, some months you might be more promotional. You might be going into a highly promotional period in your business and you need to sell more often. And that's totally okay as well. So actually, my friend, if you do happen to be going into a highly promotional period in your business, like the holiday season, which is just around the corner, I am very, very excited for next week's regular episode 91 being released next Tuesday is going to be all about how you can create a promotional campaign for your brand, how you can create launch and promotional strategies for your content to boost those sales, which is perfect timing for the holidays that are coming up. So definitely you do not want to miss next week's episode. Make sure that you're following the podcast so that you're notified when that episode comes out. And or just make sure you check back next Tuesday because it is coming for you. I've actually already recorded that episode and I think it's going to be one of my favorite episodes already. So, yes, make sure that you check that out. And I would love to hear what you think about the 40-40-20 rule when it comes to selling on social media, my friend. And also, finally, do not forget to check out the Feel Good Social Club at feelgoodsocial.com/club. I would love to see you in there, my friend. All right. Have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you next Tuesday. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.